Hey, everybody. Welcome to our show. This is our brand new show, the Ahsoka After Show. We are the Jedi Archives. My name's John.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Bryce.
All right, yeah, we are really excited about the show. This is something we're doing first time, I think, on the Virtual Cantina Network. It's actually a recap and after show type thing, where we're not going to watch along the show with you. We're just going to talk about our thoughts, our hopes, our dreams, all that about the shows. And hopefully it's successful. We can keep doing it. So one thing I definitely encourage everyone to do is, because this is recorded, in our comments, please give your thoughts. Call us out. Have conversations with us. We would love to get back to you on that. So please have that communication with us in the comments. All right, guys. I'm really excited about this. So this is here. We're talking about the first episode of Ahsoka. It's finally here. What are you guys' first impressions?
Well,
Magnificent.
Are we going to talk about the first two or just the first one?
We're going to talk about both.
I think we're just talking about the first one right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think both.
That's a good question. Yeah, well, we can talk about both. Should have thought this out before. We're already on a great stream. But yeah, let's talk about both. Yeah, might make it a little more simpler because kind of it's two episodes, but it's really everyone watched it together. I think everyone watched it together. So you guys thought it was magnificent?
I did. Right out the get go when you did not. Okay.
Who said that? Mike?
Yeah, Mike did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna get out and say it. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, born and raised Star Wars fan. I love it. I spend tens, 20s, thousands of stars. I love it, but you
Easily,
have to earn
just
it.
in red kyber crystal.
Yeah, so I don't drink the Kool-Aid. When it comes out, you have to earn it. You have to as a certain standard. And to me, this episode, the episodes, is really just like a trailer. It felt like the trailer extended into an hour and a half. So yeah, to me, if I even wanted to give it a score, I couldn't. To me, like, this is just a trailer. Nothing stole it from me, or nothing ruined it for me. It was just extended. But to me, this is really a trailer for the show that starts next week. That's how I kind of felt about it. Mike, what were your thoughts?
So I did like it. I enjoyed it. But I felt that there was too much exposition, too much filling in the background for people who haven't read the books or are not familiar with the Rebels cartoon series. There was too much backstory that I already knew. I did like a lot of things about it. I like the actors. I like the acting. I thought the pacing was good, but I felt that this was more for like new fans to bring in a new crowd of Star Wars lovers.
I just want to comment on the pacing. I thought the pacing was a little rough. Did Dave Filoni direct this? Someone else directed it, right? But it's his first standalone where he's producing, right? I don't know.
Yeah, well, he's wrote and produced. I don't remember the exact amount of episodes that he's directing.
We'll get the director. To me, there felt like maybe the directing was a little off. There's a lot of dead time. The pacing seemed a little off. So when I tried to rewatch it, it was a little rough because I was like, all right, I'm just sitting here wait. Because when I first watched it, I'm on my edge of my seat. I'm like, okay, something's going to happen. We're going to get somewhere. Rewatching it, I was like, I know what this is going to happen next. And the pacing was a little rough on the rewatch. I almost fell asleep. I was like, I got to wake up. So the pacing to me was a little rough. I felt that might have something to do with the directing, or maybe the writing was written that way, but it was a little interesting. It was not my favorite pace-wise.
I agree. It was slow on the rewatch because the first time I saw it, I was paying attention to every second. But even then, I felt it had that slow feel of the original trilogy, which, if you watch Star Wars Episode 4, it is also very slow, and I think that's necessary for an introduction. So anytime it's the first movie, you need to go slow so new fans can be drawn in. So I think that was the purpose of this, drawing new fans who might not be a long-time loyal fan.
It's interesting because I thought about that. I thought about the New Hope. I was actually having a conversation with someone about it. It says real slow too, but the difference with the New Hope is when it slowed down, you panned out. you got the landscape, you got the twin suns, you get this is when it slows, kind of their standing there thinking, arms crossed thinking. It was definitely a different visual to go along with the pace. And so whenever it slowed down in New Hope, it was kind of panning out, big views, walking in the sand, something like that. So to me, it's a little different. And so that was always kind of like, I'm looking somewhere when it slowed down, looking all over the screen. And this one slowed down is like, we're just kind of on them. I thought that was a little odd, especially on the rewatch, because first time on edge of my seat, I just couldn't. What's happening? Rewatch, I knew it was just a little rough, honestly.
Now, what do you think, Bryce? You loved it.
I did. I love going to see live action in Lethal. As somebody who's watched Rebels, not quite as much as Ashley and Mark, but I've definitely watched it enough that I absolutely love that show. And see Clancy come out as Ryder Azadi, this is great. The one that really shocked me was Senator Jai Kel. Jai Kel, like, that was incredible.
Wasn't he a cadet or something?
He was a cadet, but he was also there at the end of Rebels to help Ezra as well. So he played kind of an integral part in the last episode of Rebels. So that was a really cool nod. And it seems to be kind of free, not the long hair, everything like that. I actually thought it was a little bit refreshing that we understand that she went through this period of time, like after Ezra left, that Ahsoka decided to train her. We didn't really know that. There's no book to tell us that. So we do need that information. So for me, it was pretty essential to understand. And also Ahsoka's mind frame, right? Like she walked away from the Jedi Order. She walked away from Anakin. She walked away from Sabine. So there's some character flaws with Ahsoka too, right? Like we have to understand that. But this is where she's now putting that behind her. And then we see, there at the end, we see Sabine very, very much doing the haircut just like Kanan. Held the knife in her hand, flipped it the same way Kanan did. Everything was symbolic to Kanan. I really thought that was great. The helmet sitting on the table, same thing with his mask. He took his mask, he set it on the table. It was just, I thought that was beautiful. To give the nod to Rebels as much as they did. I see a lot of reviews saying, "Oh, this is just Rebels season 5." We know all the cast and characters are in there, except for Zeb, is who I don't think is going to show up in the show. But anyway, if he did, great. I felt it was a good nod, but I thought there were some really good moments and understanding. Like I can see where the show's going, and I understand now, like what's leading up to the Filoni movie, because it was laid out in the trailer, and I'm not sure how many people caught that part with the trailer, that to know that in my mind Morgan as Elsbeth succeeds in her mission in bringing Thrawn. And the reason why I say that is because when we see the trailer, we see Thrawn walk out. That's the same viewing deck or observation deck, whatever you want to call it, on the ship she is building currently in the season, that she's standing on talking to the holograms. It's the exact same deck. So we know she finds him. She knows where to go, and she succeeds. So that's how I feel like that's going to lead up into Filoni's movie. And I really think Thrawn's not coming out till the very end of episode 8. That's he's going to be the Thanos, and I'm okay with it. I really am. Balin is great. Rest in peace, Ray Stevenson. But oh my gosh, phenomenal!
He is amazing.
He was so stoic in this, and his lightsaber things. I mean, he was very precise. But he's not a Sith. He's not a Jedi. He's a mercenary, but he still has.
I don't think he's a mercenary yet. I think he's got. I think the alternative. I don't know. What's the word? He doesn't want money.
Jonathan,
I think he
says he wants.
No, he was getting paid.
I don't think it's about money
paid.
though. He might be getting paid to pay the bills, but I don't think that's like when Blade hunts vampires. He takes their watches to pay for his bills. He doesn't do it for the money. He has a mission, and I think that's what Balin is. I think he has an alternative motive.
When he rescues Elspeth, he tells her, she says, "You're true to your word." He says, "Yeah, and well paid." So he is stating that
Right.
he is interested in the money. And then he also
He's getting
mentions
paid.
that to his Padawan. He mentions it to his Padawan too. That when they find Thrawn, that means they'll have. He mentions something about even greater. I don't know, is it riches or power or something?
Power. He said
He
like
said
unlimited power.
which is a very
Yeah.
Sith thing to do. I understand. I understand that, but I just feel like he still, in some ways, respects the Force in a different way than what a Sith would, right? Because right at the end of the episode, when Morgan's talking about Ahsoka and a possible showdown with Ahsoka, he was very reserved about facing her. Like he was very much into like, there's so few Jedi left.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said it would
And
be a
she
shame
goes,
to have to kill her.
yes. And then she goes, sentimental, and he looked at her and said, truth.
Yeah.
That's why he's just phenomenal. I really, really like when I first hear Ray Stevenson's going to be in Star Wars. I'm like, I would look back at some of the characters that he's been, like Dagonet and the Clive Owen King Arthur. He was in Rome. Different roles that he's played. Punisher. Some of the different roles he's had, but they come in Star Wars. I mean, I thought, I wasn't sure about the casting. I love Ray Stevenson. But I was like, man, Ray Stevenson in Star Wars. I'm like, this should be interesting. And then I was like, those first 2 episodes, I'm like, he's phenomenal. It's great.
Better villain than
I
any
think
villain in the
all the
sequel
casting is
trilogy.
great though. Even his Padawan is great too, though. She's really good. I think all
Shin,
of them are good.
yeah. Shin's very
all of them.
reserved. We haven't think we've really seen.
Yeah,
She's been
I
very
think we need
quiet.
to see more from her. Yeah.
But the scene she
I
had
almost
with
want a little bit of
Sabine,
backstory from her.
but her acting with Sabine when they're fighting, I thought that was top notch. Really good action.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that was very, very well coordinated.
I think all the characters are really good. So Sabine, Shin, all of them.
Did you see Shin Hati's Padawan braid?
Which
She has
I
a
thought
Jedi
was
Padawan
very,
braid.
yeah, and I pointed that out to Sarah when we were watching it. I'm like, God, it's so weird that she has a Padawan braid. But Huang didn't recognize her lightsaber hilt if anything that's ever gone through the Jedi
This goes
Order.
back to Balin. Balin is doing more things along the line of the Jedi one. He's not Sith. Like he's gray or whatever we want to call it. But yeah, I think he's like, this is the way you train them by earning respect and stuff. Part of the process of having the braid. So I don't know why they wear a braid, but he knows why. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious, and I'm really curious, like how they met, because after Order 66, they said he just disappeared. So did he know it was coming, or did he just luck out and escape like so few Jedi did, and then decide, hey, I don't really want to be part of the Empire necessarily, but I don't want to be a Jedi either. So what can I do to survive? And maybe that's why I think he's more of a mercenary, but with, I don't know, with like morals maybe or ethics. Like,
Well, he
does it, but he
can't
also
be a Jedi, right? He can't be a Jedi because the Jedi are outlawed.
no.
So
Right, that's what I mean. Like,
on the table. And I
but
think remember
he had to find a way to
also,
survive with Force powers.
right? But like Kanan did. Remember Kanan also when he escaped and he was hiding on that planet, he was just like working and smuggling and doing stuff like that. He was using the Force to help himself survive, but he was no longer a Jedi.
Right. Yeah. That's what I mean. But at some point, he has to say he wants to pass along what he's known to somebody else. Like, so he, how did he find Shin? Where was he? Like, I kind of want to know
bet
that.
you
because
100% we find out in a comic book. 100% they're going to release a comic book about Balin. 100%. That's going to happen. I already know it.
Why not? I'd be all for it. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Cool way to do it.
Balin comic series.
I mean, it's the way they did it when they explained 3PO's Red Arm in The Force Awakens. It was a one-shot comic. It was
heard it
that was
here
a fun
with their
comic.
review of that series. We're hearing it here first.
Lucasfilm, we want that comic.
Yeah, that will come. There's no way. It's going to be too popular. Everyone's falling in love with him already after 10 minutes of screen time. People are falling in love with him. He's fantastic. So, yeah.
And Jonathan, that's a great way for the character to survive after this first season. because we know
Yeah.
Ray can't do it. But in comic books and in books, the character can survive.
Yeah. Then that'll happen. So I'll get my action figure and I'll be happy. Get my lightsaber from Disney. Disney's lightsaber. Yeah.
You know, can I talk about something I didn't like?
Talk about this. We're here to talk. We want people to
I didn't
comment
like
in
some
a second.
some of the special effects were kind of wonky at certain points. So I'm gonna admit, for the most part, it was good. But that first ship at the beginning, it looked so animated. Why didn't they just get a model? They could have just flown a model in, like Star Wars movies have done.
Oh, the New Republic ship that Elspeth was on. Oh, I didn't think
the
that
New
was.
Republic,
I could,
the one that got blown up at the
maybe I
beginning.
didn't pay attention. But I didn't.
Mike,
It
did
did not look like a real ship. It did not look like a real ship. It looked like a cartoon.
This is the product of it being a Disney Plus show instead of it being a movie. It's gonna always be like anything on Disney Plus. The budget's smaller, and it's just a fact we have to face.
But
I'm sure the budget for this
to have a model and film a model, miniature.
Well, I don't know. Maybe with the digital model they have it, and then they can shoot it a million different ways once it's built, and they can reuse it and have it do different animations. I don't know. Maybe you can do the same thing with the model. I don't know. I don't know if they really do models. I know. I love watching those old videos of the making, and it's a little miniature ship. That's so cool, man. So
yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe I'll watch it again and pay attention to it, but I didn't feel it was bad at all.
All right, so I want to address something. What did you guys think of Ahsoka's her portrayal? This is what I want to get to, so I want to hear what you guys think about it.
So for me,
I
do too. I also liked there were moments when she was like talking to Hera that I felt like what she was saying and how she was saying it was very very Ahsoka-like from Rebels and what Ashley would say and how Ashley would say it. I did feel there were moments of that, especially when she talked about Sabine taking the map. Some of the things she said, like I could hear in Ashley's voice if it was animation, and it would almost be the same. So I enjoy. I absolutely love her. I think it was a great call bringing her in.
Well, yeah, I mean, I love Rosario Dawson. She's always been one of my favorite ones. My first viewing of Ahsoka, though, as Ahsoka, God, dog, let's go away. Was I thought she was a little maybe too stoic, a little cold. I mean, Sabine's lying there 12 hours after she almost died, and she's almost grilling her about did you fix the map? Did you find the thing? Did you make a copy? Not, are you okay or anything like that? So I thought that was a little weird. She was very, very stoic and cold, and almost feel like Ezra's a byproduct. I think find Ezra great, but she really cares about saving the universe, stopping the war. So honestly, first time I watched it, I thought it was a little off. I was like, man, yeah, she's definitely stoic and pushed back, not the same Ahsoka. I thought about it, and I kind of came to a conclusion of what it reminded me of. That she, to me, has become Batman almost. How Batman doesn't care about feelings. Batman's going to do what's needed, and Batman's not going to care and say how you're doing. He's going to try and say how to save the world always, and especially if you're watching anything where he's in a group, he's always caring about the big picture, and he'll beat up a criminal to get a confession or information, kind of like exactly what Ahsoka said. She goes, I did something that the Jedi wouldn't do to get this confession. I'm like, and then she doesn't care about little things. It's always the bigger picture. I'm like, man, this is like Batman. So when I thought about that, I enjoyed it more. I'm like, she's definitely more caring about the big picture, not little things. And if the Justice League was doing something and Flash got knocked out, he wouldn't go there and check on Flash. Like, how you doing, Flash? Are you okay? He'd worry about the big picture. And so to me, it's definitely who she's becoming right now. So far, big picture, gonna stop the galaxy.
I think I think for me, it feels like something happened. Something happened that changed her, and so she's grown in such a way that she's more reserved now. So I think
Well,
we're going to find
something.
out.
Well,
Something
this is what I was
happened
going
with
to get
her
to.
and Sabine.
Well, no, this is what I was going to get to the Batman thing. Something happened, obviously, to Batman to make him was. You know what happened to Ahsoka? Her best friend, her father figure, became Darth Vader and killed all the Jedi. That would kind of change it to be a little different.
But I think something else happened on the way, and I think Ahsoka's saying, "Hey, you know what? This has been my experience, and this is a pattern that I'm feeling." And so, for me to evolve to this point, I think something happened after the Anakin fiasco, Darth Vader,
Yeah.
that
Well,
led
also,
her on this path. Because even in Rebels, when did she find out that Anakin was Vader?
pretty much
It
her
was in
second to
Rebels,
last
right?
episode of
that was that was the
was
whole
on Malachor.
Twilight of the Apprentice parts 1 and 2, and part 2 when her and Vader faced off. She
We never see
had
much of
split
her after
his
she signed.
face.
Yeah. Except
No,
when he
yeah,
pulls her out of the.
we
Yeah.
don't. She remember because at the end of that episode, before we get to the world between worlds in Rebels, we see her walk down further into the temple or out of the temple,
Yeah.
and we see Vader walking on the surface of Malachor, but she's still in there walking away, and she's definitely injured. But at that point she understood, who Darth Vader was. But later on, we understand that she was also pulled out of that situation by Ezra, and then she went back. And I think that's
Yeah.
where
You
things
spend
went
very
a little
little
bit
time with
different.
her when he does save her. It's like she goes through another portal and that's it. We spend no time with her. We don't really find out how she feels about everything. But
Yeah, there was I was going to say there's a part of it where I feel like she's like kind of like Ty York. Like she just, like Ty goes where the next bounty is, but she just kind of traveled around where she was needed. And she even says that I just traveled around and I just went where I was needed.
yeah, she doesn't
So
care
I feel
about
like,
comfort. She doesn't have a home. It's not like she's always about trying to. Her duty is she feels like she has to save the galaxy. Maybe because of she didn't see what Anakin was becoming. She feels maybe a little guilty. I don't know about that, but her duty is definitely to do that. What's really interesting is our point of view. We know Thrawn exists. We know there's going to be an arc to Thrawn. If you put yourself in their universe, they just defeated the Empire. They should be happy. They should be everything should be hunky dory in their universe. But she hears whispers of Thrawn, and so total focus, just like Batman would be. Total like there's a chance, a minuscule chance. There's a small chance Superman might become a villain, so I'm going to carry kryptonite on me. Her whole being becomes I have to do what I can to protect the universe, and everybody else is like the universe is great right now. So I thought that was really, really interesting in their universe. We know Thrawn's going to exist, and that stuff's going to hit the fan, but they don't.
Wait,
And so
Jonathan.
they
Wait,
probably
Jonathan.
maybe think she's a little nuts at this point. So to me,
Jonathan,
she's
but
totally Batman right now.
isn't it Elspeth who hears the whispers from Thrawn? It's not
No,
Ahsoka.
I'm
It's
yes,
just
Elspeth.
yeah,
Ahsoka's line. The line she goes when she's
yeah.
talking to Barris.
Says
There's
she's yeah,
whispers. They're
yeah,
not literally whispers. She's the grapevine. There could be something
right,
with Thrawn. I'm
Right,
not saying
right.
yeah,
it's rumor that there might be something, and so her total focus becomes this, and that's Batman. That's exactly what he would do. And I hear something like, I don't worry about it. It comes later. I'm like, I don't. It's so interesting that she's. She's so focused, and almost she would be kind of crazy if you knew something like that. Oh, you're really building a bomb shelter like that's what she's doing right now. She's very. It made me almost appreciate her more. At first, I was like, she's very little stoic, almost like a Zack Snyder character kind of. I was getting vibes, but now I'm like, okay, makes me appreciate it a little bit more. And so maybe something did happen with her. Something did obviously happen. They wouldn't shut up about it. They brought it up every 2 minutes. It was a little annoying. I have a note on that. All right, we got that. Something happened. Shut up. You've told us 75 times. We know. See, she needs to apologize. She needs to apologize. But I think, yeah, something happened there. Maybe that made her kind of super focused on trying to protect people. Or it could be something that had to do with Anakin turning into Vader. But she's different character kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we kind of see that a little bit in The Mandalorian too, when she's hesitant to train Grogu in the second season, because she's like, I've seen, what it can do to the best of us, and so she, obviously the whole Anakin thing has stuck with her. You can tell when Hera brings it up in there about like, I'm sure your master, blah blah blah, and like, she kind of like turned, and you can see like the look on Hera's face, like, oh, I should have maybe brought that up, kind of thing. So I don't think she's over the fact that Vader was her master.
Oh yeah, I
It still
mean, if
bothers
somebody
her.
pretty much was my best friend, master trainer, mentor for what I want to say, probably 5 years. That's how long the Clone Wars was. And she never really had a dad. His parents, kind of like big brother. She never had a brother, so closest thing to family. And they just found like he's killing younglings. He's the reason why the whole universe goes down the toilet. I'd be pretty like I'd be broke up when somebody I know betrays me or something. A little like that person backstab. This is huge. I'd be pretty devastated. It's very.
You know what? But even so, Jonathan, she still decided that she would train Sabine, even after all that.
we need to know more about that. Okay. Since we decided, she says I'm no Jedi. She said what 6 times so far. I'm no Jedi, but she says she's gonna have a Jedi Padawan. She says Jedi and Padawan, but she's not a
But she says
Jedi.
Padawan like right at the very end when they're on the ship taking off,
But
and she says
when they're talking in the second episode, she goes, "It's a lot of work to become a Jedi or something like that." So she's trying to train her to be a Jedi, but at the same time, she says she's not a Jedi. I thought that was a little odd. I didn't quite. I'm like, you're a Jedi or not, Ahsoka? So I don't know. Maybe that was just always the cartoon, always kind of saying she's not a Jedi, and they're just we're not gonna talk about that in live action.
No, but you know what?
Yeah, I
Even
think we
in
can
this
see the
new series,
symmetry.
she did state that, but she also mentioned that she did not use Jedi methods to get the information about the map. So she's not a Jedi, a classical Jedi. But
how can you train a Jedi if you're not a Jedi?
In terms of training, yes. I think that's different though, because I think the whole idea of Jedi is like the religion, but that doesn't mean that you're not force sensitive or have force ability. And like we learned with the Bendu, there are all kinds of different force users, and even the witches of Dathomir, they manipulate the force as well, and they're not Jedi. So there's not just one way. Jedi is one way, and Sith is another way. So there are multiple ways to view.
Absolutely, we've talked about this a lot in our comic reviews. I just thought it was weird. She said it's hard to become a Jedi. So I was like, is she training to be I can't train someone to be a plumber if I'm an electrician. It's kind of like if I'm a Jedi, I can train someone to be a Jedi, but I can't train someone to be a Jedi if I'm a Sith.
If you've been a plumber in the past and are no longer a plumber, you can still train somebody to be a plumber.
But why aren't you a plumber anymore? Because it wasn't right for you. So why is it right?
She didn't agree. She didn't agree with the Jedi Order, but honestly, neither did Qui-Gon really.
Actually,
she doesn't think it's good enough
because she left the Jedi Order because she felt betrayed, not because she didn't believe in it, and she felt that they were no longer upholding.
She knew things were changing, though. Like we know things. She saw things changing too, that she didn't agree with.
But things were changing with the current people in place of the Jedi Temple, not the whole Jedi belief historically. So I think that her studying her idea was not matching with what the Jedi were becoming as being soldiers and generals. Because when she started, there was no talk of Jedi being generals. So that evolution from Jedi that are keepers of the peace to now being generals in war, that went against her original studies of what it is to be a Jedi.
Yeah, but I'm saying, she doesn't agree with a lot. But it's tough because she says several times, "I'm no Jedi." So she's saying, "I'm not agreeing with what the current Jedi is." But she just needs to still. She's not saying I'm no Jedi though. I don't know. It's the fact you say I'm no Jedi, and then you training someone to be a Jedi. It's like you don't agree with what Jedi are, but you're okay with training someone else to become a Jedi. So it's
But she
Balin.
might
I bet
also.
you. I'll say
Oh, go ahead.
Balin does not call Shin Hati. I bet you. I'm training you to become a Jedi. Because he says, I'm no Jedi. He's training her in Jedi ways and whatever they call themselves. But he says, we are no Jedi. So
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
he takes a side. We're trained just like Jedi, but we're not Jedi. But Ahsoka's kind of, I'm no Jedi, but you can be a Jedi.
Master? But
She does. So
Shin
it's going to
call
be
him
just
master?
like he does. And he probably calls her Padawan or apprentice or something. But he says, we are no Jedi. He says that. So it's very, he's taking a side and calling himself. So it's just interesting that she would call her a Jedi. Is all I'm just saying. Maybe it was an accident. Or
Well, I
maybe
mean,
they're going to
Sabine did
ignore it.
call her master as well. Sabine called Ahsoka master.
Yeah. Which,
and
but
then Ahsoka
I guess
called Sabine Padawan.
Yeah. So I think that's part of the training.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have a braid, which I thought was interesting. So Balin is training her better as a Padawan than she's training Sabine as a Padawan, which is why maybe their relationship fell apart and their relationship looks great. Maybe you got to be a little more. Maybe you got to hold on to those Jedi beliefs a little bit more. I don't know. It's very cool parallels. We're having parallels.
Jonathan, maybe the original Jedi trainings from like thousands of years ago was better than what they were becoming in the current time. So Balin.
I can't imagine they're changing the training much, but yeah, I'm sure they have an SOP how to train. They probably don't delve from that a lot, but who knows? Maybe they delve from it because of the war. I don't know.
I'm curious because I feel like Balin's age in this show would have been how old Anakin would have been had he never turned to the dark side. So I'm curious if Balin was not a youngling with Anakin at the beginning.
Yeah, could be. I can't wait for some cool flashbacks, man. I'm hoping for because Hayden's voice is in the trailer, and I know they can mess with this with trailers.
Well, he's listed, I think, on IMDb as a cast.
Yeah, but
so
it could be a voice
know
over. Obi-Wan was a voiceover in The Force Awakens, so I'm just hoping we actually get a flashback, not just some voiceover. Go away.
I feel like he's going to be there. I do believe we're probably going to get
I hope so.
A flashback scene, and we'll actually get Hayden as Anakin and not as Darth
we were going to talk about things we want later, so I'll save that because I have a huge wish list on that. So,
but since that one came up, I'm fairly confident that's going to happen because this show, if it's done anything, it's done a lot of fan service. A lot of fan service.
I mean, one quick thing is I did watch the descriptive audio. I don't know if you watched it like that. They put a little more subtitles, and then there's this voiceover, very pretty voiceover, tells you what's happening a lot. And it says orange lightsaber. It's not just a red lightsaber that looks orange. They're kind of messing us with the lighting. It says orange lightsaber. So I thought that was really cool. So
that's how you know they're not Sith.
Yeah.
Sith, it would have been blood red. That's why I'm saying like he's more of a mercenary that leans towards power and control, but he's not a full-fledged Sith because he himself does not have a master.
What I bet you he doesn't do.
Darth.
I bet you he crosses lines and stuff he does, killing people and stuff like that. But I bet you what he doesn't do, which is what all about being a Sith is embrace your emotions. That's all what Sith is. Your emotions will set you free or stuff like that. It'll give you power. I bet you that's how come it doesn't turn red because he doesn't. He's very stoic. I mean, I don't know if the guy has an emotion in him.
I feel like he still has somewhat of a compass that prevents him from.
So I think that's why he hasn't turned blood red. It's like,
he's like a mercenary with principles.
But in Legends, remember, orange lightsabers were reserved for the gray Jedi. So in Legends, if you had an orange lightsaber, that meant you were a gray Jedi.
I did not know that.
So in Legends, that's why George Lucas was all saying there are no gray Jedi. He's all pissed off. But guess what? George isn't around, and the fans have always loved the gray Jedi, and fans have always clamored, "Oh, Ahsoka's a great Jedi," or And George Lucas was the only one who was adamant about gray Jedi don't exist, but he's not in charge anymore. And in Legends, we loved gray Jedi, and Grey Jedi wielded orange lightsabers.
I didn't know. That's pretty awesome. Ahsoka isn't a great Jedi, though. She is what we
No, she's
talked
not.
about in our comic books. She is a wayfinder.
Yes.
Remember, what are the wayfinder names?
Orla Germani.
Yeah, Orla.
She is
Orla
100% a wayfinder, and it's a shame because they don't talk about that at all in the movies, so they can't bring it up now because people are like, "What's a wayfinder?" But if you read the comics, that's a Jedi who still follows order but does not follow their orders. Kind of goes off on their own thing. Yeah, not in a sabbatical. They go where the Force tells them to go, not where orders tells them to go.
But
right. That's what show says. I go where I'm needed.
But they're not kicked out.
They're not kicked out. And Orla's got white sabers. I'm like,
Orla has white lightsabers. Yes.
This is a wayfinder. I wish they would have mentioned it.
But Jonathan, Ahsoka has white lightsabers, also green and also blue. So she's like in transition. She's trying to find herself. What if she ends up with orange lightsabers and allies herself with Balin?
Look at the goosebumps. Look at the goosebumps. You know why orange is awesome?
I don't know about
that. That's part of her brain.
Well, you know what?
Orange and the blue.
You heard it here first.
So. There's a lot of stuff here first. A lot of gibberish, a lot of rambling. 1 out of every 20 things is going to be cool. We're going to put it on that. We're going to ignore the other 19 things we say. That's all. But this is here first. People, please comment. If you have anything to say, if you think we're a bunch of lunatics, please comment. Please be part of this conversation. It's going to be a fun ride.
If you're Team Mike, put Team Mike in the chat.
All right, so I had a list of things I wanted to talk about. Do you guys want to talk about something specific, or do you just want to talk about shotgun this, or do you guys still want to talk about certain characters, or?
No, I mean, if we want to go through like a list of what we.
I'm gonna go down my list of things I spotted.
See.
Well, a list of things I noticed while watching. I took notes because I really wanted to discuss it. The crawl. I actually really like the crawl. I know it wasn't a traditional crawl, but I think that's fine. I just loved text coming up to the space background. I was like, it's if you read it out loud, it reads just like a normal crawl. So I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I know some people are like, why didn't they do it normal?
My only thing that I overhyped myself on that I actually was disappointed with, because when we were talking, I think on Monday about it, and I think even Spencer brought it up that the crawl was going to be there. I immediately went for movie crawl. I immediately put in my brain,
I didn't hear anything.
And so the red lettering coming up, I was like, oh, this is the crawl, but it's not the same crawl. That was like the only thing that like kind of was like, oh, all right, but it's still cool. It was the crawl, but that was the only thing I overhyped in my brain was that crawl, and like going, here it comes.
I didn't know it was coming, so that's why maybe I loved it. I didn't know it was coming.
So. I like the crawl. Let me tell you, I like the crawl because the crawl implied it's going to be a series, like a serial show, like Flash Gordon, like George Lucas' original intent with the Star Wars movies. The crawl indicated that we're going to have multiple episodes. And we had episode 4, episode 5, episode 6, then episode 1, 2, and 3, and then 7, 8, 9. So I think the crawl indicates the whole serial aspect of the show.
I was curious too that they call them parts and not chapters, because every other show
something has been, especially if you're watching the episode.
Now it's part 1, part 2.
At the end of part 1, it just says start next part 2. I was like, what the part 2? You're not going to say the title. It did have a title. I forgot what it was, but
Toil and Trouble. Toil and
Trouble. Yeah.
Which I feel was a name of another episode in one of the other shows. Like Toil and Trouble, I feel like it's been
common
recycled,
phrase, right? Toil and Trouble. I think it's a witch brewing thing, right? Maybe because the Dathomir, which I'm skipping my list on that. I am so glad they gave Morgan Elsbeth something different, because I didn't really care that she was a magistrate. I was like, I don't care. We're not going to see her again. But then they made her the Dathomir witch. I was like, I'm all in on it.
That was great.
So much cooler character. I loved it, and I'm so glad they brought that in.
I loved it too. 5 holocrons right there.
It adds so much more, and I think it's the first time we have something else Force, where we talked about before how the Force can be manifested in other ways in live action. Like it's been other ways, comics, cartoons, but in live action, this might be the
You
first
say
time we
force
see.
or magic when it comes to the Night Sisters, though.
It's
I think
they
it's
might
more
say magic,
magic.
but it's force. There's no
They call it
magic.
magic, but it's the force.
There's no outside force than the force in the Star Wars universe. It's just how they use it, how they manipulate it. So that's what it is. They
You know what,
draw on it. Just
But her
What?
being a Dathomir witch also explains a lot about how she was able to stand up against Ahsoka when she showed up in The Mandalorian or Book of Boba. I don't know where she showed up in the show. But when she's fighting
Mandalorian
against
season 2.
Ahsoka, like, what was it?
It was Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah, Mandalorian.
Morgan Elsbeth.
So when Ahsoka is
the
fighting
Jedi
Morgan
episode.
Elsbeth, like how can Ahsoka is so powerful? How can just a mere mortal stand up against her? And it's because she had additional strength and power from her being a Dathomir witch. So that makes more sense.
Yeah,
But she also asks Morgan Elsbeth, "Where is your master?" She didn't say like, "Where's where's your master?" and then says Grand Amblethron. She says master to her.
Yeah,
which is kind of
that could be taken in multiple different ways. But yeah, I mean, yeah. But definitely makes character way cooler, and I expect more things from her. I want a red robe outfit for her. I think the second episode she kind of was wearing a little maroon. But I want the head gear, and I want it all. I want floating with green magic. I want it all, man. She's gonna now be, to me, she was just a stepping stone, almost like a MacGuffin to get to Thrawn. Now she could be the big bad of season 1 till we get to Thrawn. Might be some big magic battle or something, which I'm super into, and I really like that. All right. Another thing I want to talk about was the map. My first reaction when I saw the map, I was like, bruh, a map. Another little, like I said, MacGuffin. This has been done. I didn't care for it. I'm glad it was only like one episode and not too important. Hopefully they get off it. That was a little been used before. I didn't care.
We're not done with the map.
What I like about the map, though, you know what I like about the map? This is the first time that it references outside the galaxy.
Yeah,
so,
and that line she says. That line, what did she say? Made by more ancient people from a distant galaxy. We just like goosebumps. Opening the door, the floodgates, the EU, whatever, something new. I was like, this is what I'm here for. This is why more stars, more expanded universe stuff. I was like, this is really ancient people from distant galaxies. That was one of my notes.
And that honestly could have implications on, depending on how they go with that. That could have implications on, why am I drawing a blank on, the guy who just directed Indiana Jones 5. Why am I drawing a blank? Who that is? But anyway, he's got the Jedi Dawn of the Jedi movie, right? Like that could have implications to tie into that, right? So everything that right now is in what we call the Filoniverse is tying everything together as far as Star Wars goes. Like it's branching to the First Order, it's going back to the originals, it's also bringing in High Republic, it's going back to the Old Republic. So that could have implications of like, yes, thank you. That could have implications all the way back to the movie that he's doing, as a tie into this show.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know how much of the same sandbox is going to play into, especially because Filoni already seems very separate from the rest of the stuff. Him and Favreau's universe almost seem like an alternate timeline in the universe. But we'll see. I mean, I want it. Give me a huge universe. Stop going to the same 6 planets. Give me galaxies, multiple galaxies, multiple.
Tatooine is the center of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah,
it is. It always will be.
So
I'm okay with
it. I'm okay having it. I just want more other stuff.
Sure, I get it. Yeah, I've seen new places, stuff like that.
So the High Republic I'm drawn to isn't anything besides something new, and that's really what I want. Some new planets, Valo, all these other places, all these different villains, and like I really love it. They don't have to be Sith. You can be a villain and not be Sith, so it's really entertaining so far. But yeah. One of the things I thought was funny is if you're a rebel trooper or what do you call it? New Republic trooper. You have the shovel helmet on. You're gonna die in a hallway, man. You're gonna die in a spaceship hallway. 3 times now. You have that helmet and you're in a hallway. You're gonna die bad.
Okay.
Thought that was funny.
That's the Star Wars red shirt right there. Star Wars
Yeah,
red
yeah.
shirt.
Put that helmet on. Like, you better not be a part of the Rebel Alliance or the New Republic, man. You're in trouble. When Ahsoka cut that hole in the ground, that was such a cool. I never seen it. Like, she threw the sabers down. You seen her put the sabers down and cut a hole, but she like threw them down. They stuck and then they spun. I thought that was super cool too. I don't know if you guys caught that.
We've seen her do it, but just the opposite way. She did it in season 7 of the Clone Wars, but only she went up.
She threw them and she spun them up?
I know that she spun them and then she went up to escape, Rex and everybody. But yeah, she cut
her hands. I thought that was so cool. Like, she controlled them out of her hands and moved lightsabers without her hands. I thought that was so cool. Like, literally, you can fight lightsabers floating around. I thought that was really wicked.
I think a lot of that comes from training with Anakin.
That was an Anakin move because Anakin did that when they were trapped, and he cut down and they went in one of the deleted scenes when they cut and when they're trapped in ratio, when they're trying to rescue Chancellor.
Episode 3.
He does that cut the deleted scene, right? And then they fall into the sewer. I mean, it's the fuel line or something. Yeah. But so that was an Anakin move. You can see how.
Okay. I just love the. Nobody's around. Instead of me just putting them down on the ground and spin them, I'm gonna throw them down with the force, spin them. I was like, God, that's G. That's bad. I don't want to say a cuss word, but that was dope, man. I was like, that's how you cut a hole. Nobody's watching, but I'm using the force. Yeah, I was
pretty powerful.
That.
Pretty powerful at this point, though. I feel like she's pretty powerful at this point. So yeah, it's a little bit of showboating, but that's okay.
I loved it. I thought it was super cool, super awesome to see. I just loved the whole thing. And I think that was obviously Filoni, so let's add a little flair. I love that they used the word fulcrum. Nobody, unless you watch Rebels, is going to know what that is, but they did use it, fulcrum. I was like, yes, I love that. That's not to us, Rebels fans. I thought that was super cool.
I don't know. We might get fulcrum again, Andor season 2.
Oh, maybe, yeah, because it's not her call sign; it's for anyone helping the Rebel Alliance call sign. Yeah.
Yep, because Callus owned it as well. I think there's 4 total. Cassian, Ahsoka, Callus, and there might have been another one that owned that all at one point was
Leia's father.
fulcrum.
Leia's father was fulcrum.
Was Bail?
Bail was also fulcrum. That
would be the 4th one I'm thinking of. But yeah, there was 4. But Cassian was considered a fulcrum at some point, I believe.
So I thought great callback, bring stuff together. They haven't used fulcrum in 10 years because there was always Rebel Alliance. Now we're still using it. I thought that was super cool. I loved it. Home One. I really enjoyed seeing Home One, the big bubble ship of the Moncal. And then I don't know if you caught it when they're talking. Hera and Ahsoka, they're talking about the map. They're in the Death Star briefing room for Return of the Jedi. That's the same room where he's like, this is the thing, we're going to need a team, and Luke volunteers. That's the same room. Like, that's cool. If you need to rewatch if you didn't catch that, but I really thought that was pretty awesome.
You know what I like too? I like that now we understand Chopper a little bit more, because I could understand a lot of what he was saying.
I think that was made for more casual fans, because face it, we're gonna get more casual fans watching this. And you hear what he's saying. I thought it was so cool. And
dude, it's spot on though. It was spot on. Chopper was
spot on out of any character.
I think for those of us that have been Rebel fans and faithful, it's more like Groot. We've been with him so long, we're family now, and we understand.
Yeah. People are like, I don't understand. Like, it sounds perfect to me. I just love this whole goofy scene. Have you been messing with my stuff?
Well, and like how he bangs on the hull of the Phantom 2. Like he's banging on the hull.
He flexes after he makes the throw. I was like, oh, he's doing a little flex. Yeah. That was so cool. I absolutely love him. I want more of him. I want him to be the sidekick characters. I don't want him to be, which I think might happen. I think we might see Hera occasionally. I want him to be
I don't think
Rebels there all along.
Yeah, I don't know how much presence we'll have with Hera. I think
Yeah,
she's there. She's
I think
definitely
I think we're gonna get a
involved,
lot
but
more. I think
you think so? I hope
we're gonna get
so.
a
I
lot
want
more
more
because
Rebels type.
the Lego set has her son. He hasn't showed up in these 2 episodes, so Jason's gonna show up
yeah, I
eventually.
mean, I'm not saying we won't get. I just don't think it's going to be mainstream like Ahsoka and Sabine.
Yeah, there
I
might
think
be
there's
come
going to be
back for an
times she's
episode or
there, but
something. But yeah,
yeah,
Well, the show's
I don't
called
we're gonna
Ahsoka,
see.
so
follow.
no one
We're
should
gonna
be
follow
more
those
than
two.
Ahsoka in her own show. So that I don't want a Book of Boba
So
Fett experience.
Sabine's gonna be just as heavy. It's gonna be
Nobody should be
50-50
more
Oh,
those
than
two.
for
Ahsoka
sure.
in her show. So yes,
It's gonna.
but I think Hera's gonna
Well,
be.
Bo-Katan, Mandalorian season 3. The Mandalorian episode was heavy Bo, so yeah, it's just gonna be 50-50 Sabine and Ahsoka. They're gonna
She's
really
still a
lean.
Mandalorian, so the show title still fit.
That's garbage. I don't hear that. That's a cop out. I hated that explanation. I love seeing when we're on Lothal. First of all, Lothal was beautiful. I think we already said that, but I
Oh, the
love
Loth
seeing it.
Cats. The Loth
Yeah,
Cats were
the
great.
cat, the buildings. I was dead. I loved it. I loved everything about Lothal. As Governor Azadi was there reprising his role. That was that was awesome.
Yeah,
Really
Clancy.
enjoyed
Okay, low cats are definitely a win. Another 5 holograms for low cats.
They're so lifelike. My dog went nuts when my dog sees like a lifelike animal, barks at the screen. I was like, "Yeah, look legit." So, other things. Oh, and when they're the E-wing. First of all, E-wing was great to see, but he was chasing down Ahsoka. She calls him Spectre 22 or something. So they're still using the code name Spectre. You guys catch that? I was
On
like,
Lothal,
that's
they are.
cool.
Yeah, on Lothal.
Yeah, I was like, that's cool. We're still using Spectres now. So that was another, like I said,
I thought those
fulcrum.
ships were great.
Huh? What was that? You said the
Yeah,
ships
what
were
did you
great.
say? Oh yeah, I did. Yes.
Yeah, the ships were great. I loved them. I think they're super cool. Why not have more ships? You can't go wrong with Star Wars spaceships. I love variety.
No, those are cool. But yeah, but she's a commander too. So like, she's still. Sabine had a commander title on Lothal.
Yeah. She was great. What was the punk music? What did you guys think about the alien punk music?
Oh, it's spot on for what her current state of mind was. I at first I was like a little bit thrown off, but then I kind of understood. Like, okay, this is not the Mandalorian Sabine, and this is I'm my own person Sabine, and we always know she was like that, the artist that did a lot of graffiti. So for me, it fit the personality just fine.
I'm almost exactly.
I thought it was
first
okay, but I'm not a fan.
I'm not going to listen to it. Like I would play some Star Wars music, but I'm almost just like Bryce. At first, I was like, "What is going on?" I thought it was Beastie Boys. I thought it was sabotage.
This is Star Trek. This is Star Trek.
That's what I thought it was Beastie Boys, but I was like, "Oh, this is." Thank God they put the hot teas or whatever in it, and it really brought it together. It's what she's doing. It's almost like the scenes from Star Trek where young Kurt's driving the convertible.
Spencer would be proud of you
yeah.
right now. Spencer and David, so proud of you for hawking the Trek right now.
And the Beastie Boys. But that's it. It totally reminded me of that scene, and I ended up loving it. I thought at first like this is weird, but I loved it. One thing I thought was a little odd was Ezra's hollow message. Is that what it's called? He seemed a little old, but I don't know. Maybe that's just because we're fans of Rebels. You see him like he's in his 30s.
Yeah, but they had to, they used who was cast.
Yeah,
so
I know if it's this small
I was okay
and
with
it's a
that.
hologram, you can de-age it pretty easily. No one cares. I just looked a little off for me. One thing I thought was really interesting.
It's the same feeling I had when they used for Kanan's young voice. They still used in animation Freddie Prinze Jr.'s voice, but Kanan was obviously youngling. I'm like, that didn't match either.
Yeah, makes sense.
It made him almost a little bit more surfer dude in Bad Batch.
Yeah. What would you characterize Ezra's and Sabine's relationship especially the first like 2 seasons of Rebels.
Oh, he had a thing for
So that's
it.
exactly
100%.
he liked her. I think they're changing the narrative on that because the message says you're like my sister. I'm like,
Yeah, I
no.
mean, I think. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think that you could see that in in Rebels that their relationship evolved into more of a family thing. That like
I think he
at first
always
when
liked her. Really, at the end they're giving each other those looks because she knew he was going to leave. I don't know. To me, it was he liked her, and maybe she liked him, but didn't have the time. I don't know. There's just more important things, but he really liked her. That's right. I always got, but again, it's interpretation. But then when they said sister, I was like,
I don't think so. I think it was more like
uh,
familial love. I think maybe he might have thought, hey, I'll tap that at the beginning, but as they grew together as a family, it became more of
yeah, that's how I felt
friendly
too.
relationship.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I rewatched the whole thing, and I rewatched it in like I don't know 2 weeks. I was like crammed it all in. So I got a lot of the hey, looking at her.
Oh,
I
the
was
first
trying to press
first two
her, and I'm like,
seasons, 100%.
uh,
But see, then Ezra's metamorphosis from season 2 to season 3 was huge, and how he viewed things changed. So that's why I think that like Mike and I are kind of on the same vibe as they. Yeah, sure. When he was the shorter, longer hair, you know, um, still learning the Jedi stuff, and
maybe a little more
all of that. Like,
hormones.
yeah, I really think. But then he, after he got that Sith holocron, and then he started using it to win battles, right? Like he was using it what he thought was for good. So like his whole personality kind of changed. And then, there were a few times where he would step over the bounds and he'd come back and apologize because, he was letting his family down. But yeah, after the third season, I didn't really feel like he still wanted Sabine like he did in the first two.
Well, that reminded me of
Right.
Luke Skywalker's venturing into the dark side as well. Because in Return of the Jedi, at the beginning, he's got that all black suit, and he's doing the Force choke, which is very
Yeah.
Sithy. But then, yet, when he's battling Vader, remember when he rips it open, then you see the white.
Yeah.
So that shows he's really turning back to the light side. So even though he was
That's just George
teetering,
Lucas being amazing. That's George Lucas
yeah,
being the master storyteller.
He was teetering on the
Yeah.
blink of the dark side, but then he pulled back. So I think Ezra has the same type of journey or trajectory like Luke.
Oh yeah, we know
Yeah.
definitely Ezra walked the line with the dark side, with using the holocron.
One other thing I thought was pretty cool catch. I don't know if a lot of people caught it. When we're in Ahsoka's ship, the bunks. Did you see the bunks? Where those are the Galactic Star Cruiser bunks to the T. That's
Yeah.
the Galactic Star Cruiser bunk. I was like,
Rest
that's
in
so
peace,
cool.
Galactic Star Cruiser. Rest in peace.
It's funny because you see,
Algernon.
they almost made it too late because now I like that makes it cooler because before it's like, oh, they made for the starship, but now we see them in the show, so it's almost in reverse. So I thought that was really cool. Another little throwback was when Shin Hati is hunting down Sabine and she uses the droids and it's going sound. I was like, this is Darth Maul on Tatooine. He's waiting by his ship. The droids go out and they make that They find her and come back to her. It's like, this is a throwback to the Darth Maul scene. Just
There's a lot of comparisons.
Also the
Yeah, there's a lot of
sister.
comparisons to that.
But it's also the sister from the Inquisitors because she had a little droid that she would send down all the
yeah,
not
her
quite.
standing like in
Yeah,
the
it was not
sand in the
quite. Yeah,
desert. The whole scene was a throwback. Like I've seen the scene.
100%.
Was
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah. The ones that what was she, the third? What was third sister?
I think it's third sister.
From show killers. Yeah, because second sister's in the game. But I think she's a third sister. But yeah, her droids had the arms, but like Maul's were the round like probe droids, and that's exactly what
Right. But my point is
Shin
that
had.
they use them for reconnaissance. So not that the droids are themselves are identical, but they use it for recombinant.
Yeah. The stab in the gut, could have done without that again. That's
Oh my
becoming a little
gosh!
repetitive.
So we gotta take a second on this. We gotta take a
Qui-Gon
second on
turning in his grave. Qui-Gon turning in his grave.
Cut her in the leg, stab her in the shoulder. It was like
So-
the chest, gut again. I was like, and as soon as she got stabbed, I'm like, I know she's gonna live. So I don't know. That was a little
But
much
you
for
know
me.
what?
I don't want to dwell on. Yeah.
But Jonathan, this is many, many years after Qui-Gon was stabbed in the gut. So their Bacta has gotten improved. Medicine is improved.
And I'm talking about both Inquisitors. Both Inquisitors get stabbed in the gut and they both live. And now Sabine, I was like,
we don't know what happened to Reva. We don't know what happened to Reva at the end of Kenobi. We don't.
I think kill her like that. That's going to be, now that she can't, I don't know. That's a rough way to write her off now. Have her have maybe some kind of redemption. And then she dies.
You know what? But she didn't die, Bryce. She didn't die immediately. She got up and still went back to fight, even after she's been
Sure, no. I understand, but we don't. But at the same time, we don't know that she's still living. We don't know.
Yeah, maybe her hatreds keep her alive. It'd be kind of, I don't know, unjust to the character to kill her off screen now.
Well, I will tell you.
Didn't she talk to Kenobi after that? And he told her that she could choose another path?
Yeah, she did talk to Kenobi. That was it. Yeah, but
he's not going to let her bleed out.
How is he going to heal her though? Like, he doesn't have the same powers that Rey does.
I'm not saying powers, but at that point, the Bacta technology is way more advanced than it was when Qui-Gon got stabbed. And Sabine wasn't healed by the Force; she was healed by the Bacta. And even the Bacta, when you look at even in the books and the comics, when they first find the Bacta, like remember with the Drengir that they were farming Bacta for the first time.
Yeah.
And so we see the whole evolution of Bacta, how it's evolving and improving over time. So I think at this point, when Kenobi sees Reva, she gets stabbed, he probably has a little med pack, give her some Bacta.
I don't know.
Those are my thoughts.
I don't know.
We watched it with Sophia. And completely unexpected. And Sophia's favorite character is Sabine Wren. And so when that happened, and I texted Spencer, I'm like, we are in a complete timeout right now. This 6-year-old just lost it. I don't want to watch the show, Dad. I don't want to watch it. They stabbed Sabine. She was very upset. And I was
I bet.
And I kind of had to, let's just watch, let's see what happens. So we got through the second episode. Now she's she's watched it more times than I have. Every time she gets, now she's got to watch the first two episodes. Asked me this morning, Dad, when do we get the next episode? Not until next Tuesday. She goes, oh, okay. So, but yeah, I'll tell you what, that hit her kind of like how everyone thought Chewie had died in Rise of Skywalker. That shit blew up. We're all like, what? Yeah, she was a little inconsolable for a while, and we had to take a time out before we watched episode 2. And now everything's right as rain, but oh my god.
Yeah, I bet little kids that's gonna be rough.
That was painful because she loves Sabine. She even said the other day, she's like, Dad, I really want a Sabine bean costume for Comic-Con.
That's awesome.
Oh,
you know what you should do? Get her a blank Mando armor and let her paint it herself like Sabine. I think that'd be really cool. Not with the spray can, but
she has her 3D printed helmet that we did with Bo-Katan, but now we got to do another one for
Hey guys, real quick. Can we talk about how badass when Hera Syndulla goes when they go to Corellia and she tells them, I'm authorizing it. Take us now. She's just asserting her power. I loved all that. And when they went into the office building, it's well, show me this. Oh, it's confidential. Well, I'm declassifying it. Remember, I loved all that.
I liked it too. Her whipping it out, smacking it. But at the same time, it's I didn't know if that was a government facility or a private facility. I know somebody comes into my work and says, I can do whatever I want. I was like, do you work for us? So
I think it was government facility. It was government because private facilities don't have classified information.
But he talks about investors and stuff. Some like investors. That's what I thought, maybe private. That's my one thing. Why I would have been hesitant. I'm like, you need to get a warrant.
Well, he was obviously hiding who those investors were, though. So
yeah, but that was really cool. That was really probably we didn't see much from her. There's one chance we get to see some cool stuff from her. It was cool. Cool little Easter egg. T61974, the name of the ship. Do you know what that is? That's Dave Filoni's birthday, June 1974. So he named the ship after his birthday. I was like, of course he did. That was pretty awesome. The Eye of Sion. What were your thoughts of it? Because I think I'm kind of different than everyone else when I first saw this. When I saw the Eye of Sion, the big ring with the engines, I instantly thought the hyperdrives that you attach to the Jedi starfighters.
1,000%.
Like, they're going to attach a Star Destroyer to that. The Chimera, whatever's out there, attached to that.
Yeah, maybe.
That's how they make it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I was like, this isn't a ship by itself. Maybe it could fly out there by itself, but it's really maybe just to bring it back. Or as soon as I saw that ring, I was like, that's one of the hyperdrive rings from the Jedi.
Or they fly the hyperdrive ring and bring back the Chimera, because remember the Chimera went with the Purrgil.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they're bringing back.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what Dom's saying. That's what Dom's saying. They're going to take that hyper ring over to that other galaxy and bring Thrawn back.
Oh, okay. I thought you said we're going to attach it before and then go get Thrawn.
Yeah, they're going to Uber back with it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, they're going to use that to go. Yeah, because you cannot travel between galaxies. Is going to be a lot harder than just traveling within the galaxy. Because even within the galaxy, travel takes time.
Well, it's something a lot of casual fans aren't going to know that we'll know is that there's technically hyperspace lanes. You just can't go. You got to.
But hyperspace lanes are within a galaxy.
That's what I'm saying. So this is going to be even harder because there is no mapped hyperspace lane. So maybe that's what the map is a mapped hyperspace lane. So really
remember
excited.
What they also said? They also said that before there were hyperspace lanes, people relied on the Force to travel through.
Which I think how the Purrgil do it. The Purrgil instinctively can follow the Force. That's Purrgil migrate between.
But that's why the Chids had the Skywalkers, which were those Force-sensitive young girls, to help them travel because they didn't have computers to calculate hyperspace. So for those jumps, they relied on the Force-sensitive girls, which they called Skywalkers. So when Thrawn meets Anakin for the first time during the Clone Wars era, and he hears the name of Skywalker, he's like, Skywalker, because that's what they call their Force-sensitive little girls.
Well, isn't that what the Santekas were too? The Santeca had that ability, so yeah.
Yes, but they weren't called Skywalkers. But yes, that's how they mapped out. That's how Marchion Ro was getting all his escape routes. They were Force sensitive.
Yeah.
Because Mary Santeca was creating them for him.
Another what are hopes and dreams? Oh, no, go ahead, John. Sorry.
A little note is the detention cell that you find her in is almost identical to the one you find Leia in. So that was another throwback. I thought that was pretty cool. All right. What are some of your predictions, hopes, and dreams? What do you want for this? We've been here a while. I don't want to take up anyone's time, but let's pump these out real quick because I have a couple things I guess I can start. The Inquisitor. Some people are saying this Inquisitor is just a brute or what you call it, a throwaway character. I think it's not. I think this Inquisitor is something special. And my two predictions, it's a prediction, so it's not a spoiler, but I think it could very well be Ezra. Or it could be Galen Merrick, which is the Starkiller from the video games. Sam Witwer is in the credits as additional voices. And Sam Witwer played Galen Merrick. So I think the Inquisitor could very, very well be Sam Witwer. I know Sam Witwer and Dave Filoni are like that. I'm like, oh please! And they named it Marek, not Merrick. Close. So I think it'd be kind of, and it's like the correct timeline. He was like Vader's apprentice would be perfect age. So I would be really cool to see him. That's what I want. I think it could very well be Ezra because I don't know how they're going to bring in Ezra, but I want it to be Galen Merrick. But rename him.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to have him.
Five holocrons for that prediction.
And they just released a 3 3/4 and a 6-inch. Well, they haven't released it. They announced 6-inch character of Galen Merrick. I'm like, what a time to announce it too. I was like, come on! I just want Sam Witwer in some live action Star Wars. Really, doesn't that? No, they
would be cool. Would be cool.
Characters from the EU. I don't even need him to be the same exact character. I just want pull from that the video game, make it be him, the actor, make him Merrick, and then maybe trained in the way of the Force. That's what I really want. It doesn't have to be Vader's ex-apprentice. So I think that would be really awesome. One other thing I wanted is I kind of want the Katana fleet. And when I first watched the trailers, I thought I saw the Katana fleet, but now watching it, I'm like, that's the first ship you see there. They're kind of cartoonish. But I want the Katana fleet. I really, really want the Katana fleet because that was a huge point in. I don't know how they're going to read it. Honestly, it's not going to happen, but I want them to have it because to me, it was a huge part of it. This 100-ship fleet that they now have that moves as one. It doesn't even have to be manned. I was like, that's awesome. And my very, very last wish is a flashback. And I want the whole crew there, man. A Clone Wars crew. I want Hayden. I want Obi-Wan. And I want Padme. And I want them all there talking to a young Ahsoka. And I thought about it. If I could see Natalie Portman, that would be the happiest man alive. If I can get Natalie Portman in that 2-minute flashback, I'd be the happiest man alive. That's my wish. Make it next season if it's not this season. Get Natalie Portman back into Star Wars. Hashtag get Natalie Portman back in Star Wars.
Jonathan,
there's not gonna be another season of Ahsoka. I mean, that would be cool. That would be really cool. I don't think there's going to be another season of Ahsoka. This is it.
Well, everything's hit the fan with this writer strike, so we don't know what's happening.
I don't even think it's that because, like, what's Filoni going to work on next? Like, at some point, he has to start production on this movie. Because he's got a 2026 date for the movie.
Everything. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everything's probably going to get pushed back now. So,
but at some point, he's got to go into production on that. So I don't know if there's going to be his time schedule is going to allow another thing, and plus if he's moving with all these characters that him and John have been doing to, culminate in his movie that he's got, I just don't think there's going to be another.
Well, then this is your
predictions, right? Right. What are your predictions? What do you want?
Boy. I don't want the rumor of Ezra being Merrick to come true. I do not want that. I would like.
I don't think I want it either.
But it's possible.
It makes sense.
It's very possible. And I think Ahsoka at least has a feeling of who Merrick is. Because you kind of watch that fight, like she does feel like there's something about it where it's almost like there's a couple moments where she's just like, "Whoa, like what's going on here?" Like there's something, there's a presence or something that at least that's what I picked up on. That just didn't sit right with her when she was fighting him. Obviously he didn't say a word. Very quiet. Doesn't say a single word the whole time. Obviously his blade is red. So we definitely know that this person is fully immersed in the dark side. But yeah, so I don't know. Like, I don't know if it can be, like, I get it. There's the Sam Witwer rumor out there, but I don't know if Ahsoka would have known who Galen Merrick is. I almost feel like she knows who's in the suit.
I didn't pick up on that, but it'd be cool because that's what I was talking. I think it was Alan. I was like, what if it's Ezra? He goes, well, she would have noticed. I was like, I didn't notice she noticed, but if she does have some moments where she can sense something, that would maybe it would if there was an obvious, like, she stops, thinks, and like you could tell wheels are spinning. I think that checks the mark that it's Ezra. But I think that's so subtle, which I didn't even notice, is good. I don't want to be Ezra.
Yeah, I
don't
don't
want it to
either.
be Ezra. I don't want it to be Ezra either. And I think that when he jumps on the ship and his blade is coming back, she said that she moved out of the way. Why didn't she just cut it in half? She knew it was coming, but she let it pass by her to get back to him when he was on the ship. So she could have easily destroyed it because she knew it was coming. She got out of the way.
Yeah,
Why did
I think it's pretty bad. I think it's pretty
Yeah.
G just be like,
Yeah, but why didn't she just raise her lightsaber to slice it? She could have done that.
I mean, he would have got another
Could have.
lightsaber. Yeah,
Could have,
Yeah.
but
You know,
yeah, I don't know.
Kyber's not that easy to come by. It would slow him down a bit.
the Death Star blew up. There's pieces all over the galaxy. Piece of Kyber.
It's very true.
That's burnt Kyber.
Yeah, I mean, outside that, like I said, I kind of see where it's going with the Thrawn's return. It's inevitable. It is going to happen.
Yeah.
Ahsoka's not going to prevent it.
It'd be a letdown if we didn't get it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that when he's walking out and when we see him and he stands there and he looks out over, he's on the deck of, that ship that she's currently on.
The Chimera.
Yeah, so it's definitely coming. Definitely going to be a moment. Like I said, I think on Monday, I hope that Ezra's back, but I think it's going to be probably like the 7th episode that we'll actually see him. The Black Series figure. There's already images of him, his figure with his lightsaber, and then if you look at the Sabine figure, it's the same hilt. So it's like, does she decide like, hey, I'm going? Is he the hero that rises? Because everybody thinks it's Sabine, but could it be him? Could they find him and give him back his lightsaber and say, "We need you," kind of like Luke Skywalker? So I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to like put any expectations or too many things. Like, I just really kind of want to go and just really flesh out the story and just kick back and enjoy it. It's Dave. I fully trust that he's gonna do everything and it's gonna be great.
Well, my wish is that we get Thrawn coming back, and that Balin is Joris the Bayoff. I know there's no Joris, but I want Thrawn has to have his force sensitive.
I
great Jedi.
think that's the witch. I think the witch is Joris. I think that's what they're doing.
She's not as.
I agree, Jonathan.
She's not. Then why didn't she escape herself out of the cell? Why did she have to rely on Balin to rescue her if she's that powerful? I think Balin is more powerful than she is. And I think Balin is going to, and these are my predictions anyway. So Balin's going to be Thrawn, Joris the Bayoff. Because Balin has faith in Thrawn.
I think there was more to her being captured. I don't know. There's more maybe being.
But I think if they had captured Balin, he would have like snapped himself out of those binders. They wouldn't have been able to keep him.
Say something. This might be a bit of a setup. If you remember when they said she has the map, he said, "Well, you're lucky then." Immediately they said, "Go to Lothal." Maybe they did not know how to open the map. Maybe they needed. They might have thought the only one can open it too was maybe Ahsoka or Sabine. Maybe that's.
I think she knew she chose Sabine because Sabine was able to open the world between worlds.
Well, you're lucky then, line. You're lucky then. I was like, did they want her to run away with it? Unless I'm like, is that why she came?
But there is no luck in Star Wars. There's no.
No, but I think they knew. I think they knew if Ahsoka had the map, they'd take it to Sabine, and Sabine would unlock.
I think it might have been a setup. Oh, you can't have it. Here it is. I take it because you guys could unlock it. We can't.
Yeah, it's very plausible.
Yeah, that's what I thought. You're lucky line kind of. And then they knew exactly where to go. They knew exactly where to find Sabine. I don't know. It was, maybe a little setup, but we won't find out.
I think so.
That, I think Balin
next week
could. I think Balin might be the one has the possibility of turning. being going kind of maybe back to the light side. I think that might be a possibility. Like he sacrifices himself or something. Because I think Shin Hatim might be more of a villain towards the end. Maybe kind of take over the role and Balin try, I don't know, perishes or something. I want him to be good. I want him to be awesome. I want Balin to be awesome. So he is already awesome. But yeah. You guys have any final thoughts? I know we talked about a lot.
Excited to see next Tuesday. Excited to see next Tuesday. And
guys, please have conversations with us in the comments. Talk to us about this stuff. Like, call us out. Agree with this. Tell Mike he still has no idea what he's talking about. Let me know I have no idea what I'm talking about. Agree with Bryce. Do it and talk with us.
Write down in the comments, Team Mike.
Team Mike.
Hashtag bring Padme back.
Team Frozen Mike. Team Frozen Mike.
Oh, I also would like to see a Freddie Prinze Jr. flashback. I think that'd be cool too.
It's possible.
I think that'd be cool.
That would be cool too. So
yeah. All right, guys. I like these first 2 episodes. I'm so glad we got new Star Wars. These 2 episodes, though, like I says, is the trailer expanded. Nothing too much new, except we definitely knew she's trained to be a Jedi. But I definitely am intrigued, and can't wait to see some more of it.
Absolutely,
I agree.
All right, guys.
All right. Till next week, guys.
All right.
May the force be with you.
Thank you, guys.